One of the things I love most about watercolor is that it gets me out searching for light, atmosphere, and places that feel worth slowing down for. I rode my bike out to Maudslay State Park in Newburyport, looking for spring color or something that would grab my attention. I never fully know what I'm going to paint when I leave the house. Sometimes the scene appears immediately. Sometimes I wander for an hour before something finally catches me. What I'm really searching for isn't just a subject, it's a feeling. A place where light and shape suddenly come together. And then I found them. These flaming azaleas running down the edge of the lane. What struck me immediately wasn't the detail, it was the sheer mass of warm color against the cool greens and dark trees. That's usually when I know a watercolor might work. When I paint outdoors, I try not to chase every leaf or blossom. What I'm really after is atmosphere. Big shapes, light first, feeling first. The details come later, if they're needed at all. I'm setting up an old half-box French easel. Been with me for years and years now. And it's a little cranky, maybe like I am, but it works. It allows me to keep the watercolor paper upright or at an angle, allowing gravity to work its magic. I hope you can hear the birds in the background, which I've left on the tape. Absolutely beautiful. First washes are really about establishing the emotional temperature of the scene. Warm reds, corals against softer, cooler greens. I want the azaleas to feel like they're glowing along the path, because they are. One mistake in watercolor is trying to paint every detail, every blossom. Nature's already complicated enough without us making it more so. What makes a painting really work is simplification, I'm suggesting. Particularly, you can see where I have grouped all of the beautiful salmon color together. I've actually wiped out, if you will, with loading a brush with water and get rid of some of the details. Details are the enemy, if you will. You can see I'm adding a couple of figures, just suggestions that actually walked by, and I thought, why not add a human element to it? It's the path. And in some ways, when you add figures into a painting, a lot of people identify with the figures and then can feel as though they're walking along that path, which is actually a beautiful part of the painting. As the afternoon light lowers, the sunlight's strong, and you'll see that I've actually added some cadmium watercolor right out of the tube to reflect some of that wonderful warmth that streaks along in. For me, actually, painting slows me down enough to notice where I'm actually at. Maybe that's the real gift of watercolor, allowing us to enjoy nature, enjoy our being, if you will, being with ourselves and comfortable with ourselves. The interesting thing about plein air painting is that the scene's always changing, always moving as the sun rises or the sun sets. And so you're always painting something that's disappearing right in front of you. The light changes, the wind changes it, even your feeling about the place changes as you go about painting it. You're really trying to capture something temporary. That's probably watercolor in its essence. That's probably why it feels right to me. It's always different, always changing. Hi, here we are at Maudslay State Park. Absolutely beautiful avenue, which I think you can see mostly. I have attempted a watercolor of it here. Fairly happy with it. Maybe I'll touch a little bit more at home. But when I came around the corner on my e-bike, I went, wow. These are what I would call flaming azaleas, meaning the color is pretty hard to capture. It's a little red, a little rose, a little washed out, it's a lot of everything. There's nothing that I have right on my palette for a match, so I did the best one could, highlighting the bigger shapes, not trying to paint every single blossom, every single flower, everything, just suggesting the big masses. Again, surrounding the lights with the darks, as you can see here. And then the light is raking from right to left as the sun gets lower. And that to me is interesting. When I go out searching for a subject on my bike or whatnot, usually it's early in the morning or more often later in the day when the shadows come in and they create half the design for you. So I hope to do more of these when I get on my bike and I go around town, stop and see something, and I'll try and video it when I can. For those of you that have been following my last few, my eyes are much better, are they not? In any event, thank you so much. Here's the painting. I'll put it up on my website, and I'll put up the video too. Bye-bye. Can you hear the birds? Thanks for coming along with me today.